Hey Raindrops, Watery Aquarius here. You probably haven't heard from me in a while. I posted a podcast. I posted a part 2 with Alyssa a while back, but this podcast was supposed to be weekly, but something happened. Basically, all my life I've dealt with headaches, I've dealt with migraines, and as I've gotten older, they've gotten worse. So recently, it was like after Venus retrograde actually, I had to go to see a neurologist because it was really bad. But it took so long with the neurologist to like get the medication, to get the right thing, and to do rounds and rounds and rounds of stuff. Because you need to do rounds of stuff to like prove to health insurance that you need other medication that works better. So it's like this whole thing, but that really like put a roadblock in what I was doing and my plans, and it slowed me down because like I just can't think when I have migraines or headaches. Like I can't process things. Like I just need to just chill, lie down in bed, and it makes me like sleepy. So I went through a lot of that. Yeah, it was also hard because I love to work. I love to work on my projects. I love to create, and I couldn't create. So it bothered me, but now that I got that all situated, basically I had to get Botox for my migraines, and they put Botox in my head, and that stops migraines, and it's like, it works top tier. Like, it's the best treatment I've gotten so far. But yeah, now that like that's all situated and I know how to like deal with that, like I'm back on my game and I'm starting to doing things, and I'm starting to like, do more astrology stuff and offer more content because I love doing this. So that's the reason why I was so MIA from Hacking Astrology and like doing like weekly podcasts, because I just had to deal with like some health issues. But man, like I really have enjoyed like doing this podcast. I started this podcast because I just wanted a platform to speak about things in long term. I wanted to even like break down certain things because I felt like there wasn't a space where we were talking about like toxic astrology or like limiting beliefs in astrology, fear-mongering in astrology. I don't feel like a lot of people talk about that. And I just kind of want to talk about like the societal effects of like how we use astrology. So yeah, I started this podcast and I put a lot of effort into it, like thinking about like what would it be like the branding, the design, the name. And I felt like I wanted to take this podcast in so many different directions. I still do want to take it in different directions, but it was a lot of work and I really enjoyed it. And I really loved having like my guests on like every other week. Because, I see a lot of podcasts out there and I'm trying to think about how to make the podcast better, So I see a lot of podcasts out there and they're usually with two people, right? And I have my solo podcast. I feel like though when I'm like with someone, like I kind of blend into their energy because I have like this Neptune in the 7th house, that sort of stuff. So I don't want the podcast to be with someone permanently. Like I want to keep on bringing on guests still every other week perhaps, because I like to have like my platform, my space, because I feel like that's one reason why I started the podcast, because I just wanted like a space for me to talk, a space for me to vent and discuss things. And I'm really proud of like all the podcasts that we did, like all the interviews, and I interviewed like Alyssa Sharp, the Divine Venus, who was one of my teachers really, and talking to other astrologers, getting their take on things, I think was just very beneficial and helpful, and also helped me understand different perspectives so I can learn more about what I would think about this. Though, I feel like I ended up in this kind of like robotic place with the podcast where it felt scripted in a way, because I had points, of course, for the podcast, and I would just kind of like know what I'm going to say, and I would go over the points. And I felt like sometimes it felt like a presentation, or it felt like kind of robotic, or kind of like not lighthearted, not fun. I think it was definitely fun. I think my podcast is definitely interesting, definitely thought-provoking, but was it lighthearted? No. I want to make it lighthearted, and I want to also, I'll talk about what my future things would be, but I just felt like I could be like more personal with it. But I think that this first season is like a great establishment for Hacking Astrology, because now that we have like all of my concepts and stances on like the basic things on like toxic astrology, now I can move forward. Now I can now I could start applying those beliefs and concepts to what's going on in the world right now. So I want to, like, I had my first idea when I was thinking about like, how should I rehold this podcast? I was like, transits. Okay, so I could go over transits and I could talk about how certain transits are toxic and they get talked about in toxic ways. And going over things that are happening like real time. So going over if Mercury retrograde is happening, doing a Mercury retrograde episode where we talk about Mercury retrograde and how we should be talking about it in society to help make it helpful, not to fearmonger. So stuff like that I think could be really cool. I think my second idea was to do reality TV. So I'm a big reality TV fan. I don't know if you know that, but ever since I was younger, I watched like every reality TV and every reality TV show, and I still do. Well, like not the Housewives shows or anything like that, or The Bachelor. I watch like Bad Girls Club and stuff like that. But I'm so interested in reality TV, and how I got this idea is because I watch Big Brother. I don't know if you guys watch Big Brother, but Big Brother happens live. So they're in the house while the episodes are filming, so you know what day certain things are happening, so you could pull up the chart of that day and look at, you know, synastry, look at that chart, so you could take like people's certain players individual charts and see what it's like to the chart of the game and make predictions on people winning or like certain likelihood of certain things. I think that would be really cool, you know, just to really go into the astrology of certain reality TV shows, go into the characters, go into the show, what happened, see how like they manifested in the chart. I think that could be super interesting. Though that's not really like the topic of Hacking Astrology, right? It could be a sub series in a way. But obviously I would be talking about it in a way where it's not like toxic astrology or anything like that, anything limiting. I would still talk about it in a healthy way, but I would be talking about just like reality TV and how it manifests. Now, I was like, should I put this in like a different podcast? Should I keep it in the same podcast? Right now, I'm going to keep it within the Hacking Astrology podcast just because we have everyone here and we don't need to like spread everybody out, especially because we just started here. So yeah, I think that I might do a reality TV season. I want to maybe even just do like a transit season, a reality TV season. I think that would be really cool. You know, I could do both of those ideas. But yeah, I definitely want to have guests on as well. And I don't know, let me know if there's anything specific that I should do that you want me to do more of. I also felt like the segments that I had in the last one were, like I said, robotic, scripted. And it was like I was forcing myself to do the segments, not having fun with them. Because I feel like only segments are only fun when you have another person. So there's that, you know, so it was just kind of weird, or I just have to find the right segments. But right now, like, I just really want to transition this to like a vibe. Like, I want to chill, talk about astrology, teach stuff, but I don't want it to be so robotic. I don't want it to be so like straightforward and, you know, stuck in stone. I want it to be fun. I want it to be lighthearted like this video. So I want my podcast to be kind of like this. Obviously, I say lots of ums and this and that, but I mean, that's just how I talk and like... But yeah, I still want to do weekly episodes. I think weekly episodes are awesome. I just feel like I don't need to put so much pressure on each episode. Like, I don't need to script out everything and make a whole thing. Like, I can just talk about it and just talk about what I know. Make some notes, of course, but like not script it. Make just bullet points and just like talk about it and talk about certain points and just my reaction off of it and me talking like this. So that's what I'm thinking of doing. I also need to get my set together because I just moved into a new apartment, so I have to figure out where I'm gonna film. I still need to buy like more furniture and stuff, so that might not happen until later. But yeah, I'm just trying to figure out, maybe I'll just do my podcast here and make the lighting green in the back. I don't know. And about my content, I'm really trying to figure out a way in which I want to communicate with my raindrops, with my audience. Right now, my idea is like doing weekly horoscopes for everybody. I was doing daily horoscopes at one point, and I was like, this is a lot every day. And it was hard to keep up with it because I would tweet them. First, I did like, I did like a week horoscope, and I did all the transits. That didn't do well. And then I started doing like transits as they happen, like the time of, and just isolating them. and that did really well, and I would post it on Instagram, and that was good. But it was so hard to keep up with, like doing individual ones. And also I would make like a video a day of the horoscope, and that was also hard for me to do at some point. So I transitioned to weekly horoscopes. So now I have the subscription feature on Instagram. So I post rising sign horoscopes for the week for the rising signs, and then I post just like general collective horoscope stuff on my public page on Instagram. So I'm trying to do weekly horoscopes. I also make TikTok content all the time, just like I just hop on trends and stuff like that. I plan to talk about transits mostly, and just talk about how like the transits are affecting us, and just elaborating on them and giving advice. I want to go over the full moons and the new moons that happen, and I could do horoscopes and just like regular content on that. All the special events that are happening, like Mercury retrograde, Mars retrograde. And I have my readings to do, so I do readings and doing like readings for the transits and all that kind of stuff. And part of my readings, I have my weekly transit readings that I have to do for my clients. So like every week I give them a horoscope on their week coming up. So I do those every week. So yeah, there's that. Did I put a finger up for that? Anyway. Yeah, there's a lot of buckets of content that I'm like putting effort into right now, and I need to make a calendar. So I need to make a calendar of like what's going on with the sky and what campaigns I'm gonna do and like how I'm gonna do them. But I wanna add hacking astrology to those buckets, and that would be a weekly thing, right? I have to figure out what doing a weekly podcast would look like in my life right now, in addition to all of this content that I'm doing. Ideally, just like every Sunday, I would just make it an astrology Sunday, and then I would do transit readings, I would do weekly horoscopes, and I would do podcasts for the week. But here's the thing with the podcast, with the reality TV season that I want to do, that's going to take a lot to research. So I definitely want someone to be on that podcast with me. That's a podcast that I think I need someone on me with. Anyway, maybe the next season will be the transit, just like me going over transits. Yeah, I think that'll be pretty cool. Like weekly transits, anything that's happening and talking about it, and not fear mongering and just like vibing. I think that would be pretty cool. And yeah, what else? So that's pretty much my plan for Hacking Astrology. Right now, it is the beginning of September. In terms of Hacking Astrology, I think we could just jump into it very soon. However, I do want to get myself situated, and I also just want to do some internal work before I do the podcast, because I need to take a break. I just need to take a break. After I get everything situated, I just need to take a break. After I take that break, I think that'll happen. So I don't know. Maybe we could just make it a January thing. I don't know. I feel like I could do it in October. I think I think I could start in October, to be honest. I just need to get things situated a little bit. October, November, May, spring, summer.
When? Probably more September. For that is spring, summer.
Okay.
September, spring, shows spring, summer.
But yeah, it's on my to-do list. I want to get back to the Hacking Astrology. I have one more bonus episode I'm going to release soon. That's an interview with my friend Omar. And we just talked about his life, and we just talked about art and stuff like that. So yeah, season 2 about transits, weekly podcast, starting in October, November, December, if anything January. But I just need to get things situated before I think about this. But this is just I just want to come to you guys and just tell you what's going on, why I was gone, what the break was about, and what the plans are moving forward. So let me know if you have any ideas. And yeah, thanks for watching, listening. Don't forget to review, rate 5 stars my podcast on the platform that you're on, and share with your friends. And yeah, if you get me on Instagram at Watery Aquarius or Hacking Astrology, hackingastrology.com, wateryaquarius.com. I'm on Twitter and Instagram and TikTok. Follow me on TikTok as well if you're not following me on TikTok. And yeah, I will talk to you guys in the fall, around there. All right, bye.